Good evening, folks. This event is blessed with gorgeous weather every year. It's amazing. I'm Melvin White, and before I introduce our first honoree, I have an announcement to make. I was slipped a note by Dan earlier today, and he asked me to read it to the group. And here it is. As of midday today, cash received plus pledges equals $173,600. Now, this compares to gross revenues last year of slightly over $160,000. So thank you all very much. Dan did not ask me to say this, but I'll say it. We're still accepting donations. I've had the honor of serving as co-chair to this wonderful event this year. Dan and his amazing staff at Whitman-Walker Health are truly, truly wonderful for all the hard work that they do to support our community. The Going the Extra Mile committee is made up of volunteers from around our legal community, and they too have worked very, very hard. It's been a pleasure to work with you this year. And my co-chair, Bob Spagnoletti, affectionately known to some of us as Spag, or the Spag, is Bob. Pure joy to work with you, Bob, and I appreciate everything that you do as a leader in this city. So on with the program. It is my real pleasure to introduce the first recipient of the 2011 Joel A. Toubin Memorial Award, Paul Smith. Paul is well known to many of us in the DC Bar and to those in the national struggle for LGBT rights. He chairs the Supreme Court practice and appellate practice at Jenner and Block, and is a distinguished constitutional lawyer and appellate and trial lawyer. He has argued numerous cases in the United States Supreme Court, including cases involving congressional redistricting, the First Amendment, the 11th Amendment, and 11th Amendment immunity. Paul has served on the National Board of Directors for the American Constitution Society, and he served as chair of that board. Paul is a member of the National Board of Directors of Lambda Legal and served as co-chair of that board. In 2010, Paul received the prestigious Thurgood Marshall Award from the ABA section of Individual Rights and Responsibilities for his work in promoting civil rights and civil liberties. And Paul's introduction that night was amazing. To anyone here who happened to be there, talk to me later. In 2003, as co-chair with Lambda Legal, Paul argued the landmark Supreme Court case, Lawrence versus Texas, which held sodomy laws unconstitutional. That case very dramatically advanced substantive due process jurisprudence and achieved a striking declaration in our country's history by our nation's highest court. And that declaration is the right to affectional and sexual liberty and the dignity of same-sex relationships. Most recently, Paul's efforts to achieve full legal equality for LGBT citizens have involved working with gay and lesbian advocates and defenders to challenge the provision of the Defense of Marriage Act, also known as DOMA, that deprives persons in same-sex marriages valid under state law of more than 1,100 benefits under federal law that are provided to opposite-sex couples, married couples. Paul is co-counsel in cases against DOMA filed in federal courts in Massachusetts and Connecticut. Last year, Paul and his colleagues won a breakthrough victory in the case Gill versus Office of Personnel Management, in which Judge Taro of the District Court of Massachusetts, U.S. District Court of Massachusetts, held that DOMA's discrimination against same-sex married couples was irrational and did not survive even minimal scrutiny. under the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution. For his creative and tireless efforts for relationship equality, Whitman-Walker is delighted to present Paul Smith with the 2011 Joel A. Toubin Memorial Award.